Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. In our top story, after months of campaigning in both the primaries and the general election, the voters finally had their say, and Donald Trump will be the 45th President of the United States. Emily Schmidt is in New York with this report.
I love this country.
Exuberance from the new and unexpected president-elect.
I pledge to every citizen of our land that I will be president for all Americans.
Hillary Clinton conceded privately to Donald Trump last night, but did not address the large crowd when her loss was announced. She finally spoke to the nation late Wednesday morning.
This is not the outcome we wanted or we worked so hard for, and I'm sorry that we did not win this election. Our responsibility as citizens is to keep doing our part to build that better, stronger, fairer America we seek.
Clinton entered Election Day leading in national polls with what political pundits said was a clearer path to the 270 electoral votes needed to win the race. Through the night, that path narrowed and finally closed completely. The battleground states of Florida, Ohio, and North Carolina all went to Trump, as did states like Wisconsin that the Clinton campaign believed were solidly blue.
Now it's time for America to bind the wounds of division.
President Obama also acknowledged the divided nation in a Wednesday speech.
Everybody is sad when their side loses an election. But the day after, we have to remember that we're actually all on one team. We're not Democrats first, we're not Republicans first, we are Americans first.
In New York, I'm Emily Schmidt.
Wall Street welcomed President-elect Donald Trump by avoiding the crash many had feared. Maribel Eber reports.
Investors in the U.S. are getting a chance to react to the surprise victory by Donald Trump. And the losses, at least in the early going, are not nearly as severe as what some had anticipated or what we saw in some overseas markets. Shares in Japan sold off and stocks in Europe were lower much of the sessions. But you know what? They did come back. Here in the U.S., the Dow was actually higher early on. A lot of that has been due to the Dow's 3 drug stocks. Hillary Clinton had talked about tighter regulation of the drug industry. Those stocks are rallying this morning and helping lift the blue chip index. Now, we're seeing weakness in some tech and telecom stocks, but we are seeing strength in financial services and healthcare sectors. And one Wall Streeter said the prospect, at least, of tax cuts and pro-growth policies has helped ease the losses. That's the latest in business news from the NASDAQ market site. I'm Maribel Eber, New York.
Well, the Canadian government's immigration website crashed Tuesday night, and experts believe the U.S. election played a major role. Business Insider reports the site went down around 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and access has been spotty since. Online searches regarding moving to Canada and becoming a Canadian citizen grew in recent months, particularly after Donald Trump won the Republican presidential nomination. Thousands of Virgin Islanders came out on Tuesday to exercise their right to vote. Turn our attention back at home. At stake were the senatorial races on St. Thomas, St. Croix, and Senator at Large. The races for delegate to Congress and the boards of election and education were also on the ballot. After going through a smoother voting process, they have spoken, and here are the choices. April Knight has the story.
Sites didn't deter Virgin Islanders from casting their votes on Tuesday. More than 18,000 in total cast their ballots, either by early voting or heading to the polls. This year, one major change is that voters no longer have to place their ballots in boxes to be tabulated later, making for a smoother voting process.
Most voters are able to put the ballot into the DS200 themselves. The only issue that comes up is it seems to be a lot of people are undervoting, so they actually have to push the cast your ballot button instead of it automatically casting.
Here are the results as of 9:30 p.m. on Tuesday. Running unopposed on the ballot as delegate to Congress, Stacey Plaskett sails right into her second term with 13,958 votes. Democrat Brian Smith beat Stephen Payne's write-in bid for Senator at Large, winning 5,563 votes. Some shakeup here in the senatorial race. On St. Croix, Democrats hold on to 5 5 of 7 Senate seats. Kurt Viale at the top with 5,667 votes, followed by Novelle Francis. Alicia Chucky Hansen is definitely back with a solid third place. Samuel Sanis in fourth place, followed by Positive T.A. Nelson and Nareda O'Reilly, who's now running as a Democrat. Senate President Neville James hung on by a thread in seventh place, but Kenneth Gittins is right behind him, 75 points away. On St. Thomas, Marvin Blyden at the top with 6,186 votes. Jeanette Millen-Young nabbed second place, followed by Tregenza Roach. Myron Jackson, Gene Ford, Kevin Rodriguez, and Dwayne DeGraff make up the last 4 spots respectively. Janelle Serreau, meanwhile, is stalking DeGraff's spot. She's just 39 points behind. For the Board of Election on St. Croix, Liliana Belardo de O'Neill, Lisa Harris-Moorhead, Glenn Webster, and Epiphane Joseph got the 4 spots. On St. Thomas, it's Arturo Watlington and Lydia Hendricks, and new member Maurice Donovan. Alicia Wells ran unopposed and won St. John. Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
In the Board of Education race, James won the at-large seat. Marshall Webster and Mary Moorhead won the 2 St. Croix seats, while Kaiser Colwood and Ara won the St. Thomas seats. Again, these are the results as of Tuesday. While early voting has surged this year to about double the 2014 gubernatorial election, the actual voter turnout was way lower. In 2014, almost 28,000 voters cast their ballots, with some 54,000 registered voters in total. In 2016, however, only about 18,000 voters actually headed to vote, and only about 45,000 registered. On Tuesday, judges at various sites were not surprised at all at the turnout, and it somewhat reflects what residents have called a dead election. Here's more.
We had a full schedule of people here at 7 o'clock. We opened at 7 o'clock. The line was a little long. This morning it was raining, so everybody wanted to come inside and sit down and wait so they didn't get wet. So that's why we had a flock of people so early this morning. But I think for a little while it's going to die down, and maybe coming closer to the evening time, we'll have a flock of people, being that they'll be coming in after work.
So far, it's been one of the deadest I've seen. I've seen a lot of election. There's a lot of people hyped up. There's signs all over the place. There's a lot of activity going on. This year, I don't know, it's just dead. You don't see as much sign, you don't see as much people. There's not much activity, there's not much fundraising. It's like, what happened? Is it the American election that's taking it over? I don't know. But this year, it's not how we used to. It's kind of like dead.
And now some more reaction. Many people took to the airwaves and social media to express themselves during and after the tense moments of the presidential election. We took our cameras out to get some reaction as well. Here's more.
I thought the margin of victory that Donald Trump won was it was a lot more larger than I guess everyone expected, and his victory was kind of surprising in the amount that he beat Hillary Clinton. So that alone was enough to wake up to the next day.
The United States of America had a choice of choosing between Barabbas and Caesar, and they went with Barabbas, so we got to see what's going to happen. I personally wanted to see Hillary in there, but she had a lot of skeleton in the closet, and I think those things that really haunted her. But we really, as a woman, I thought for sure she would have done much, much better with her professional background.
I think that this is a fundamental election in the United States of America and the world, because this really determines what kind of country we see ourselves being. Are we going to be a country of inclusion? Okay, are we going to be a country that succumbs to fear and hatred?
But Donald Trump brings something fresh to the table, and he may do something positive, but we have to give him some time and see whether he works out or not. I think it's taking some time to sink in, but I think after a week or so, everybody get used to it and just wait to see what happens next.
Turn our attention back to money matters. Marvin Pickering, who is the director of the Virgin Islands Bureau of Internal Revenue, reminds the business community that the gross receipts tax amnesty signed into law by Governor Kenneth Mapp on October 6, 2016 is still in effect and will end on Tuesday, January 3, 2017. All outstanding gross receipts tax obligations up to the August 2016 monthly gross receipts tax return and the annual 2015 gross receipts tax return are part of the amnesty program. Taxpayers are urged to pay the gross receipts taxes owed, and the interest and penalties will be abated under this program. Well, due to a maintenance issue, Banco Popular's Hibiscus Alley branch will remain closed until further notice. They apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. Customers may visit any of the other 4 branches located on the island, which operate from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. The main office in Altona, Fort Milner, Red Hook, Lockhart Gardens Shopping Center. Banco Popular also provides digital platforms for its customers. The ATM outside the branch will remain operational and available for use. In keeping our eye on the economy, here's a look at the stock market watch at the New York Stock Exchange. According to the numbers there, we can see everything up. The Dow 256, NASDAQ 57, S&P 500 up at 23. Coming up on News 2, crime reports from the VIPD. A 23-year-old shooting victim has died, and police are asking for your help as they continue to investigate. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Commissioner of Agriculture Carlos Robles invited livestock farmers on St. Croix to a meeting to discuss the recent rash of stolen animals. At the Curriculum Center, Police Chief Winsbert McFarland Sr. from VIPD was in attendance, along with representatives from the DLCA and the Department of Health. He reminds consumers that at this time of the year, many animals are stolen and slaughtered in the bush and then are sold to unsuspecting consumers who could be harmed. Only the farmer knows which animals are ready for slaughter. Some animals may have been medicated as part of keeping them healthy, he says. Buy local meat only from known livestock farmers and meat which has been inspected and stamped by the VI Department of Agriculture's abattoir. Turn our attention to crime reports. On November 7th at roughly 4:53 p.m., patrol units from the Richard Colwood Command and more, they went to investigate and traveled to sub-base to conduct an inspection of an area after citizens reported shots fired near the Doctor's Choice Pharmacy. Here is an update on that shooting.
The victim, who sustained multiple gunshot wounds about the body, was transported to the Roy Lester Snyder Regional Medical Center. At the hospital, units observed the unresponsive black male. He was then taken into surgery for his injuries. Preliminary investigations reveal that the victim was in a parking area when a vehicle drove up, fired multiple shots, striking the victim to the body, and the suspect then fled the area. On November 8, 2016, the following morning at approximately 3:25 a.m., the male, who was identified as 23-year-old Dejani Chitoli, succumbed to his injuries. This case is very active, under investigation. Anyone or any person having information regarding this incident is asked to contact the Homicide Task Force at 340-774-2211. You can also call Crime Stoppers VI at 1-800-222-TIPS, or you can call 911.
On Tuesday, November 8, around 5:02 p.m., a patrol officer on routine patrol called the 911 emergency call center of a possible DOA, dead on arrival, under a tree by the Peters Rest dump site in Christiansted. Citizens in the area stated that the individual was lying on a flat lounging chair for some time. Emergency medical technicians responded and observed there were no vital signs. A family member on the scene stated that the individual suffered from seizures. Juanito Rosario, 35 years old, of Vieques, Puerto Rico, was transported by the morgue attendants and was pronounced dead at 6:31 p.m. by the doctor on duty at the Wanafui Hospital. Next of kin has been notified. On Tuesday, November 8th, Mohammed Jubran, 27, of St. Thomas VI, pleaded guilty in district court to trafficking in firearms. Sentencing is set for March 9th, 2017. According to the plea agreement, on October 15th, 2015, Gibran sold an AK-47 to an individual. After the sale, Gibran offered to sell more firearms to an individual in the future. Gibran is not a federally licensed firearms dealer and is not licensed under Virgin Islands law to possess any firearms. This case was a joint investigation by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Well, on Friday, November 4th, the VI Department of Education named St. Croix Central High School English teacher Dinah Brown as its 2017 State Teacher of the Year, days after she was also named the St. Croix District Teacher of the Year in a ceremony on October 30th. Now, as state teacher, Ms. Brown will represent the Virgin Islands both locally and on the national stage. Upon graduating in 1991 from Rutgers University with a Bachelor of Arts degree in English, Ms. Brown began working as a teacher at a small private school on St. Croix. In her 21 years at Central High School, Ms. Brown has taught students in grades 9 to 12 and has many accomplishments under her belt, and we wish her all the best and congratulations. Virgin Islands Department of Education, Division of Culture Education, they're holding a Grand Veterans Day concert on Friday, November 11th from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. at the Vern Richards Memorial Park in Frederiksted, and it's to honor all U.S. veterans living in the territory. The Sweet Peppa Quilbe Band and Chantal Harrigan and Company will provide entertainment. A popular DJ will also provide music. Food and drinks will be on sale by the University of the Virgin Islands Steel Ensemble. Meanwhile, the Virgin Islands Office of Veterans Affairs, they're asking everyone planning to attend either the parades to wear something in the color of purple in honor of those who have received this award, the Purple Heart Award. Now, the recipients were asked to make contact with the office in either district to participate. Director Patrick Farrell spoke at a pre-Veterans Day parade on St. John. Here's more.
Now, we asked for Purple Heart veterans to call into the office so that they could be a part of the parade or even to be recognized. And we had a very, very small number. If you look at the definition of a Purple Heart veteran, which is someone that was either hurt in combat against the enemy that was going against the United States of America, or someone that was killed in combat. These people, the ones that are still here with us, they don't want to talk about what made them a Purple Heart veteran. Even though you decided not to come forward to get your just due recognition, we still do this in honor of you.
And we will hear more from Director Patrick Farrell on tomorrow's newscast. Meanwhile, the parades will be held on November 11th, 9 a.m., Christiansted, St. Croix, starting at the Bassin Triangle down King Street and the reviewing stand, which will be at Government House. The official ceremony will take place at the Christiansted Bandstand immediately after. Now, on St. Thomas, the parade will start at Adelita Cancrine Junior High and proceed down Veterans Drive. The parade will make a left turn at the main fire station and proceed to Noragata towards the reviewing stand. The official ceremony will be held at the Franklin D. Roosevelt Veterans Park immediately after. Virgin Islands Department of Education St. Croix District Technology Coordinator Everett A. Ryan announced that 4 teams of students in the school district will participate for the first time in the upcoming Cyber Patriot, the National Youth Cyber Education Program competition on November 14th at CTEC's Cyber Patriot. And it was created to motivate students towards careers in cybersecurity and other science, technology, engineering, and mathematics disciplines. The participants are from St. Croix Educational Complex, Career and Technical Education Center, St. Croix, Central High, and St. Joseph's High teams. They'll compete for top teams in the nation and earn all expenses paid trips to Baltimore, Maryland for the National Finals competition, where they can earn national recognition and scholarship money. The Office of the Governor, in partnership with the Virgin Islands Department of Education, invites students currently in grades 1st to 7th who participated in the 8th Annual Governor's Summer Reading Challenge to attend celebrations planned on St. Thomas and St. Croix. St. Thomas St. John District, the event is on Saturday, November 12th from 2 to 5 p.m. Charlotte Amalie High School, Gym and Field. And then St. Croix District, it's on Saturday, November 19th from 2 to 5 p.m. at St. Croix Central High School's Gym and Field. It's by invitation only and open to the students who read 5 or more books as part of that challenge. Attendees will enjoy a fun-filled day of giveaways, food, games, bounce houses, and door prizes. The Virgin Islands Public Broadcasting System, WTJX and WTJX FM 93.1, they're hosting the 12th annual Taste of Two Islands fundraiser in support of the system's programming in the USVI, themed From Farm to Table. The Taste of Two Islands event returns to the Mark C. Marin Center at Antilles School. That's on Thursday, November 10th from 6 to 10 p.m. Member tickets include entry, food and wine tasting, live entertainment by Cool Sessions Brass, Cash Bar, and much, much more. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
Take a look at the current satellite. Really not much has been changing over the Virgin Islands. We continue to see that pattern of fronts coming off of the southeast and then stalling basically right over the central Caribbean. So we're seeing a line of showers really over parts of the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, and even into Jamaica as well. So as we head into tonight, we're seeing mostly cloudy conditions. We cannot rule out a shower or two. Now the shower activity has definitely decreased over the past 24 hours, but it's going to continue as we head towards tomorrow. So in St. John as well as St. Thomas, we're looking at temperatures in the upper 80s with a few showers around the area, and we can't rule out obviously a thunderstorm with all of this moisture sticking around. And as we head down south into St. Croix, that is also the case there. Out on the waters, now on the Atlantic side, there is a small craft advisory, an area of low pressure just off to the northeast of Bermuda, causing some swells, and those swells could be actually quite big. So our waves 8 to 10 feet, winds out of the east 10 to 15 knots. That small craft advisory is in effect throughout tomorrow as well. Now on the Caribbean side, we'll continue to see that small craft advisory. These swells still getting big, but not as big. The wind's not really so much the issue with this advisory out there. Out of the east, 10 to 15 knots. Here's a look at your extended outlook. So for your Thursday, we'll continue to see some showery weather. Another front passes through, and by the weekend, we'll continue to see those spotty showers here or there. Temperatures will remain in the mid to upper 80s as we head towards the end of your weekend. Our lows will continue to be in the mid to upper 70s. That's all I have for you right now. We're going to toss it back to Sandy.
Thanks for that. Not too bad. Few showers here and there to cool things off. Kaylana LaRogue sends in this News 2 weather picture. Beautiful colors there and showing us some smooth sailing as we continue the rest of the week, along with some sunshine Kaylana is hoping for. Representing the Ricardo Richards Elementary School, thank you for that. Send us your News 2 weather picture to the address right there on the screen. Be sure to include your name, age, school, and a brief description of your work of art, and then tune in to see it right here on News 2. That is all for this edition. I'm Sandra Gumansing. We'd like to thank you for joining us for all the latest. We'll see you next time. Have a wonderful evening.